Rose, a.k.a. William Roberts, a.k.a. the guy who steals people's identities, a.k.a. Officer Ricky, a.k.a. the guy who everybody thought was a hot rapper at a certain time but didn't really get hot, and then Diddy called him Biggie, but it didn't really happen. Yeah, a.k.a. this guy who, released a diss track towards Drake, but doesn't want to show up in Canada. Yes, he doesn't want to show up in Canada. Let's go over the article. Rick Ross announced that he had to cancel his concert in Montreal, which is in Canada, due to personal reasons, but he ended up performing in Nashville on the same date. Somebody ducking the smoke from Drake. Rose was originally booked to perform at the Mural Festival in Montreal, Canada on Saturday, June 15th, but the event's organizers announced that he had pulled out of the performance at the last minute. In a statement, the festival said, for personal reasons, Rick Ross has made the decision to cancel his performance at the festival. In the coming days, we will provide a full refund of the daily tickets you purchased or a partial refund of the Weekend 2 passes and festival passes if applicable. Nothing seemed unusual until he showed up at the Blavity House Party Music Festival on the same night without any further explanation. One fan joked that Rick Ross pulled out of the festival due to his ongoing issues with Drake. Yeah, Ross, here's the thing. Ross has a history of, let me just call him William because that's his name. He's not Rick Ross. That's the real Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross, we just talked about in the last podcast. You know, when Rick Ross went to go perform in Detroit after, I don't know what he did. I know he disrespected Eminem at one point by calling him a hunky when he was beefing with 50. But I think he said something about like, he got like, I don't know, he got let's see. Because there's a clip here. Let's see what this is. Maybe this is it.
In 2014, Rick Ross was due to perform a show in Detroit, Michigan. This show would be canceled due to Rick Ross being denied entry. Detroit would be deemed a no-fly zone by Trick Trick, who's a very respected figure in Detroit and its rap scene. According to him, Rick Ross was denied entry because he and other people in the music industry did not support local Detroit artists.
What does this no-fly zone mean?
It was for record labels.
Okay.
They would charge the local artists to perform, and the local artists would bring 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people sometimes to this event that will pay to get in. It's like, how is you charging them and they bringing you revenue?
There are stories of Rick Ross being run out of Detroit, but he would deny this and say that he could not make it to the show due to the gate for entry being padlocked.
In the jungle, you don't lock the lions out. You let the lions in and lock them in.
See, man, when Rick Ross talks and just lies about shit, in the jungle, you don't lock the lions, bro. Just stop, man. Just say, hey, I got punked out of this area because I said some shit or did some shit that wasn't supposed to go. Rick Ross run out of Detroit by 100 individuals led by a local rapper. That's kind of disrespectful. I don't know if that was. But yeah, Trick Trick had the no-fly zone. Basically said, hey, if you're going to come here and make money off Detroit, like, put on other people. That's the gist of that no-fly zone. So, regardless, there's been instances of Rick Ross not being able to perform at certain places and do certain things because he got punked. Now, have you ever heard of, what rappers have you heard of ever getting punked out of performing at a certain place? What rappers have you heard having to check in? It's usually artists that get no respect where they go. That's really what it is. The ones that don't have to check in are the ones that get respect all over. Or are really, really big artists. And, like, what are you going to stop? Drake? Like, even with Kendrick saying, hey, Oakland going to be less stop. Like, that's not going to happen, man. Drake is at a level. Drake generates per show $4 to $5 million. The security that's there, nobody's even going to get remotely close to Drake or do anything. Like, at that level, you can perform anywhere. No, like if Rick Ross was this big artist that everybody says, Rick Ross would have been able to go to Detroit. Trick Trick would have said, hey, there's a no-fly zone, you can't perform. Rick Ross would have brushed off his shoulders, performed there had no issues because he's that big of an artist. And when you're that big of an artist, you can do that stuff because you're the level that you're at. Security will stop anybody from even getting remotely close to you. Regardless, Ross didn't perform in Montreal, canceled it for personal reasons, quote unquote. Maybe because he was worried about, Drake. Hey, at least Pusha T pulled up. He performed in Toronto. He didn't even care. So fuck it, we're beefing with Drake. I don't care. I'm performing in Toronto. So, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see if Ross addresses this at all.